Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku was the summoned slave of Momo and they fell in love part 1. Before we start, please go support ancalagonintheblack for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Deku is a male in this story. Chapter 1. In a world where quirks existed, being people with powers but at the same time being a small percentage, there were quirkless people without powers apart from villains and heroes, but the important thing was that there were people who, apart from having a quirk, could summon a kind of slaves that few people could summon, since it happened naturally with rich people. Right now you can see some dark-haired people in a mansion. Momo. Dad, what am I doing here? The little girl said this while in a fourth class that seemed to be a training class. Momo. Daughter, as you know, each member of the family was able to summon a slave, and I would like you to summon yours. Momo. But I can't. Momo. Don't worry daughter, I know you can do it, but if you can't, nothing will happen. Momo. Okay. The little brunette, only 4 years old, began to try to summon her slave. Momo. I can't. Momo. Try to do it one more time. The girl would only try again because she didn't want to make her father look bad. Momo. Spirit that comes from the depths comes to me and responds to my call. At that place where the camera focused, that went through a jungle to the end of it to be in a desert, followed by that in the middle of it a giant mountain could be seen, which at the top had snow apart from a cave where one entered, so that inside the mountain, a kind of fire that never ended could be seen to enter a second cave, in which a lot of hot water was shown, so that at the bottom of this all the darkness in a cave an eye would open which had a yellow glow, and little by little the place would begin to tremble, while a roar of an enormous beast was present. Momo. It seems like it didn't work. And that a kind of portal was made which generated an enormous amount of wind, causing the older dark-haired man to cover his daughter, although a dark matter came out of the portal, so that little by little, a green-haired girl came out who was wearing a tuxedo, and who seemed to be approximately 16 years old, so that everything would stop. Izuku. Can I help you with something? Momo. Who are you? Izuku. My name is Izuku, guess the last name, and I will be your servant Miss Momo-sama. He bowed to the brunette who was only looking at this with a touch of astonishment to approach Izuku. Momo. Hey Izuku, please don't call me Sama or anything like that, we'll be friends. Izuku. But I'm his slave to him. He had an emotionless face, making the brunette notice this. Momo. Come on, if you can be my friends apart from the fact that my father would let something like this go or not father. Momo. Of course, after all he is your slave. Momo. You see. Izuku. It's okay Momo. Momo. Daughter, one thing, your slave will have that form and age for the moment, but when you are the same age, from then on you can begin to grow as you also grow until you die in exchange for breaking the contract, and he can begin to continue growing. Momo. Yes dad, come Izuku, I have to show you the whole place. He said this while holding Izuku's hand, leading him around the place, so he could start looking everywhere in the mansion, the patio, the kitchen, the dining room, the rooms, until they showed him the schedules for everything. Making Izuku understand everything while he had the same emotionless look, but now he was sitting on a small chair apart from where there was a small table, and he elegantly had a cup. Momo. Do you want more tea, Mr. Izuku? Izuku. No, but Gr. He fell silent when he saw how they served him more tea in the cup that had something strange in it. That's right, Izuku was playing tea with a 4-year-old Momo. Izuku took the tea to show a suffering face, but he drank it there. Momo. What did you think? Izuku. Delicious. Momo. I know you don't like me, there's no need to pretend. Izuku noticed a sad face. Izuku. How about I teach you how to cook? Momo. Really? Izuku. Yes. Momo. Do you know how to fight too? Izuku. Yes, why? Momo. It's just that my dream is to be a great heroine, and I would like to know how to fight. Izuku. In that case I'll also teach you how to fight. Momo. Great, my new friend is going to train me. Izuku just watched as the brunette went from one side to the other until there came a time when she got tired and fell deeply asleep. Izuku left her in his bed so she could try to get out, but the sleeping Momo grabbed her by her clothes. Momo. Stay. Izuku, upon hearing that, he just stayed in the spot next to Momo who was sleeping peacefully. Chapter 2. After Momo summoned Izuku, who introduced himself so that everyone would know about him, Momo showed him around the place so that years would pass. But years passed in which little Momo grew up and was now a girl the same age as Izuku, who were calm in the mansion while her father looked at the mail. Momo. Nothing, something interesting. A dark-haired girl resembling Momo approached to see the letter. Momo. Daughter, what was your dream? Momo. Being a heroine. Momo. It seems you can be. Momo. How? Momo. The UA wants you to go. Momo. Then I have to take the entrance exams. Momo. In fact, daughter, you can go without taking the test since you got in on a recommendation. Momo. Great, you heard me, Izuku. He said it to the green-haired man who was only behind him on the wall with the same face as always. Izuku. Yes, Momo. Momo. Classes will start in a few days. Momo. I'm going to get ready. The girl went to her room, followed by the green-haired boy. When night fell, the parents could be seen walking around the place. Momo. Let's see how my daughter is. When he opened the door he saw Momo asleep but above a sleeping Izuku. Momo. I better intervene a little. Momo. Better not, honey, since you put the cameras in our daughter's room you have T left her alone, and this reminds me of something. Momo. What thing? Momo. When you summon me you. Momo. True, who would say that there was love between a slave and her owner? The days passed until they went to UA. When they arrived Izuku was seen by the girls who immediately knew that the boy was a slave. They walked until they entered a classroom. Jiru. Hello Momo. Momo. Hello Jiru. Jiru. You still have that slave. Momo. Yes, and he is not a slave, he is my friend. Jiru. Whatever you say. Everyone passed by until Izawa arrived. Izawa. Okay, I know it's sudden, but everyone put this on and go outside. He said this while showing the UA clothing for everyone to do. Izawa. Why don't you have the suit? Izuku. I am Miss Momo's servant. Izawa. In that case I'll leave you. The tests would be like the original story until the part where everyone gathered at one point. Izawa. As you all know we can summon our servants and people, so we will try to see if some of you. Lita. Is there an example? Izawa. Yes, Momo has one that they see as Izuku. The servants only serve to pay attention to them, although they each have a quirk, although it is very weak. And that each one passed. Bakugo. Come on, come to me. Then it was seen how some kind of stones were made from the earth so that a red hair would emerge. Boy. Hi, I'm Kirishima, my quirk is hardening. The colored viper named Todoroki passed by to see how there was nothing in the place, making everyone think that the colored viper did not have a servant. Girl. Hi, I'm Toru, my quirk is being invisible. That obviously surprised everyone but Izuku. Lita. Eat here. He saw how a small purple sphere was generated from which a little boy emerged. Boy. I'm Mineta, my quirk is being able to throw these balls that can stick to anything. Shoji. Come on, buddy. It was seen how a boy was generated from the shadows. Boy. Hello, my name is Tokoyami, my quirk is Dark Shadow. Jiru. Come on, I don't have all day. At that point, some small rays appeared, causing a blonde to appear. Boy. Hi, I'm Kaminari and my quirk is Electricity. Izumi. Can you come please? It was noticed how a little bit of shine was generated so that a boy could come out. Boy. Hi, I'm Ajiro, my quirk is having this tail. They were the only ones who could summon. Momo. What a simple summon. Bakugo. Sorry, mine appeared in a very strong way, yours may be better. Momo. It's just that ever since I summoned him, he never left my side. Izawa. Well, let him go to his world and come back. Momo. Yes. At that Izuku left in sparkles. Momo. Eat Izuku. In that, as before, a dark-colored portal was generated which released large gusts of wind, causing everyone to take cover. Izawa. I've never seen such a violent summoning. Izuku was coming out of the portal while a large amount of heat was present, causing some to start sweating until he came out completely. Izuku. Ready. Izawa. It's incredible, there has never been a summoning like this before on such a large scale. Momo. Izuku, you can go into protective form. Izuku just agreed to show how he became a kind of small dragon which sat on Momo's shoulder, which would only begin to caress Izuku, who was only calm on the brunette's shoulder. Izawa. Okay, everyone go so you can relax. I know classes continue tomorrow. They all went to a kind of houses which were close to the UA, since it gave houses to students and even some apartments to the servants who were just calm in the place, but a certain green-haired boy was with his mistress. Izuku. Can I help you with anything else, Momo? Momo. I already told you that you don't have to be a servant in front of me, Izuku, eat and relax. Izuku just sat next to Momo in front of a fireplace so that the brunette could read on the green-haired boy's shoulders. Momo. What do you think? Izuku. What about? Momo. About all this. Izuku. Sounds good to me. Momo. Isn't that girl Izumi something of yours? I mean, they have a similar name and both have green hair. Izuku. I'm afraid not, my entire family died a long time ago. The brunette felt bad, so she hugged her green hair. Chapter 3. After Momo entered the UA to go with Izuku to do the Izawa tests so that they ended up in a class of houses, although the servants in apartments, so that the next day everyone got up to go to the UA being in classes without any problem, although Izuku it was still in the form of a small dragon being on Momo's shoulder. Mina. You're lucky Momo. Momo. Why? Mina. It's just that Izuku looks really cute like that. Lita. At least he's not a pervert like mine. Jiru. I thought mine was the only pervert. Todoroki. And you can see it. Toru. Sorry for not being visible. Momo. It just happens this way. Jiru. I have a doubt about why he has green hair like Izumi, apart from the fact that their names are almost the same. Izumi. Yes, but I don't know why. Mina. Could you lend it to Izuku for a while? Momo. No. That's where Izawa came in. Izawa. Okay class, today we will open the book on page number of the history of quirks. Everyone would look for a part of the book, but a page name caught a student's attention. Mina. Professor, what is this about the page called Infernicus? Izawa. Well, the Infernicus are a class of servants or fighters which are known because in ancient times they fought against people who were very strong. The Infernicus had more than 3 quirks at the same time, but there was a war in which everyone went against the Infernicus. Obviously all the Infernicus died, but in that war, they managed to kill more than half of the army, being a quarter of it. Lita. And these signs. He showed some signs. Izawa. They were signs that they possessed which left them like Infernicus, each one had their own, but among all of them their captain, their leader had one in particular that he always showed in battle, being the most feared person of all. That surprised everyone. Jiru. Professor, I know there is a kind of test so we can know the limits of our servants. Izawa. About that, there is a test that your servants have which consists of them having to catch you, but within their worlds where they came from, if they do it and manage to pass, your servants can give you their powers if you want. Mina. How does the test work? Izawa. They enter their world and they have to catch them and they can have help, but the person who catches them will have the same abilities as the servant. Momo. But what if we fail? Izawa. His servant is free and returns to his world until someone else summons him. Todoroki. Then we may lose our servants. Izawa. Yes. Momo just looked at Izuku, who was looking at the book on the Infernicus page, an image which showed that war and all the deaths, but what Momo noticed was that the boy had a colder look than normal apart from sentimental. Izawa. Which reminds me, his servants have special days where they can rest if they want, and apparently they can go to the dining room now. 15. Everyone just went to the dining room where they were eating quietly, although when Momo didn't want something she would just throw some of her food at Izuku, who tied it in his dragon form. Jiru. Hey, some servants are good at fighting, yours are good at fighting. Lita. No, not mine. Izumi. Ajiro knows some martial arts moves, but no. Todoroki. Toru may be invisible, but he has no strength. Bakugo. Mine a little bit, yes. Shoji. Tokoyami can only fight at night, but not during the day. Momo. Izuku can fight, he is very strong. Uraraka. Why are you so sure? Momo. Izuku, can you? Izuku only returned to normal to take off his top part of him, no longer seeing a well-formed body apart from having scars on his body, noticeably from battles, but he had bandages which prevented part of his back from being seen. Momo. You can put your clothes back on now. He said this as he looked at the girls who had blood coming from their noses. Mina. You are certainly very lucky. Lita. Why the bandages? Is he hurt? Izuku. No, it's a privacy servant issue, and the only way to see what I'm hiding is by passing my test. Sayu. Have you fought before? Izuku. Yes, I was in wars, my last master died, and since then I was never summoned again for years, until Momo summoned me. Momo. Eat. Mina. Let me do one thing. Momo. Yes, as long as I look at it. At that Mina grabbed Izuku by the tie to give him a kiss with tongue in front of everyone's eyes, but some girls didn't take it very well, so they did the same until Momo grabbed Izuku and took him away from them. Momo. I didn't let them kiss him, if I had known what that was, I wouldn't have let them. 15. And that everyone went to their classes so that at Momo's house, he was arriving when Izuku closed the door to turn around, and Momo threw herself at him to give him a kiss that lasted until he was out of breath. Momo. That's so you can be mine and only mine. Izuku just nodded, but the brunette remembered something. Momo. Izuku, why don't you ever tell me about your war marks? Izuku. I just don't want to remember it. Momo. Bad memories. Izuku. Something like that, they always used me as a shield, but 2 of them treated me well, and we fought side by side. Momo. I see. Izuku. May I ask a question? Momo. Yes. Izuku. Why do you treat me so well? Momo. It's just that I hate people who use others as mere objects and I feel better being by your side. Izuku only felt good about this so he did something he never did before, put on a smile that Momo noticed. Chapter 4. After the UA talked about the subject of the Infernicus apart from the tests of a servant so that everyone was calm in class talking to each other without any problem until someone came through the door of the classroom that nobody expected. Mina. Momo, could you let us have Izuku for a whole day? Momo. No. Mina. Why? Momo. I know they're going to want to rape him. Mina. It's not fair. Jiru. Is his quirk able to transform into a dragon? Momo. Something like that. Lita. What do you mean, something like that? Momo. It's that he showed more than one quirk. Todoroki. If it wasn't for a servant I'd say it was an Infernicus, but it was said that they were all killed. Momo. Well, what do we do now? Then they saw a person enter. All Might. I'm entering as a normal person. Izuku. What's normal about it? All Might. Okay, young people, put on your hero costume so we can begin today's test. Then everyone went to put on their suits to be able to do the hero tests, but All Might stopped them. All Might. Wait a moment, your servants have to go to a part where they will be tested for their abilities. I pointed out the place to which the servants only went, but Izuku stayed still. All Might. Young Izuku has to go. Izuku. No, the only person who can give me orders is Momo. Momo. You can listen to him. Izuku just looked at her before leaving with the rest of the servants. They walked until they reached a room where they saw Izawa. Izawa. Well, we'll see some of their abilities so we can put the parts of what they can be useful for. Everyone just agreed to start taking the tests, when they finished they just went to where the class was. Momo. And what happened? Izuku. They only saw part so they could know all the things we are good for. Mineta. They just left me as a common servant. Lita. What's wrong with it? Izuku. It only serves to hold and carry things. Toru. They left me in the same position apart from espionage as an assistant to heroes if Todoroki lets me. Kirishima. They only left me in the gladiator part and the same as them, only as an assistant to heroes. Bakugo. And what is that gladiator thing? Izuku. You can leave us in what would be the part where we can fight to the death with other servants without using our quirks, just swords, spear and that. Bajiro. They left me in the same position except from assistant to hero. Tokoyami. Everything is the same except gladiator. Kaminari. I'm about the same as Tokoyami. Momo. And you Izuku. Izuku. Gladiator, hero's helper, common servant, sexual servant. Mina. Wait, sex servant. Izuku. Yes, it is for anything that is in the sexual part, in short sex. At that the girls blushed. Mineta. You're the luckiest one. Izuku. Other than that I can also be a teacher. Shoji. What do you mean, teacher? Izuku. Yes, I can teach them swordsmanship. That's when Nezu appeared. Nezu. And I would like you to do that. All that. Nezu. Yes, Izuku was put in the test so he could show his skills, and among all this he showed great combat capabilities with the sword and other weapons. What's more, we have a part where you can train if you want to go now. Everyone just listened so they could go to a place where there was nothing but a training camp. Everyone was surprised by the place. Nezu. Well, they're all yours Izuku, for now you're not a servant, you're a trainer. At that Izuku just walked in front of everyone to grab a whip. Izuku. Well, since I am your teacher so to speak, you will not call me Izuku, servant or teacher, from now on you will call me doctor. Aoyama. How stupid that a servant trains us. At that Izuku threw his whip at him, causing him to land on Aoyama's neck and throw him in front of everyone while he was on the floor. Izuku. I think someone needs to learn some things, sword. At that Kirishima threw 2 wooden swords from a drawer. Izuku. Take it and fight. Aoyama. Of course. And that he took the sword to try to hit Izuku, but he blocked it in a very easy way, as if it were nothing before everyone's eyes, so that at one point, Izuku made him pass to one side of him to hit him with the sword in the back, causing him to fall to the floor in pain. Izuku. From now on call me doctor. Mineta, Toru, Kaminari and Tokoyami will be in charge of giving water and food, only when I give them permission. Ejiro and Kirishima as they are gladiator trainees will train more than the others, understood? Kirishima. Ejiro. Yes, doctor. Izuku. Everyone watching. Let's train. Everyone just started training under the gaze of Izuku who just walked among them, watching how each of them trained until a small thing happened. Bakugo. Is it all because I'm going to follow the rules of a servant? Izuku. Return to your post, you are too weak in your strength. Bakugo. But what? Izuku. Swords. At that Kaminari passed him 2 swords. Izuku. Everyone get away. Everyone just walked away. Bakugo. I'll kill you. At that point Bakugo takes the two swords to go against Izuku, who only began to dodge Bakugo's attacks, who only got angry in front of everyone's gaze, so that Izuku at one point when he dodged one of the blows, grabbed Bakugo's arm to hit him in the stomach, followed by another on the chin, causing him to step back and shake his head a little. Izuku? That's all. Bakugo? Damn. He went back to Izuku, who continued to dodge the same thing until he took another arm to apply some pressure so that he would release the wooden sword and Izuku would take it. Bakugo tried to attack again, but he just stood there while blocking with one arm and without moving from his place to at one point pass the sword through his feet to lift him into the air and make him do a complete spin and fall to the floor so that he had Izuku's sword on his neck. Izuku? I think that's more than enough, today's training is over. Everyone left to go to their own house, but when Izuku entered Momo's house with her, he was thrown to the floor by her, followed by Momo getting on top of him. Momo. I like taking control, but now it's my turn. That's how I suffered that day. Chapter 5. After passing All Might's test, everyone knew what the servants were for, although the one who had the most details was Izuku, who gave them a small training class, so that at this time everyone went to UA, where they passed between reporters at the place to be in the classroom. Mina. Izuku's training was very hard. Shoji. Yesterday I couldn't move some parts of my body. Hiroshima. Say it for yourself, we were worse. Bajiro. I couldn't even move. At that they saw Izuku and Momo enter the place. Jiru. It took them a long time. Todoroki. Apart from that, I heard a lot of noise in his house yesterday. Momo. It's just that yesterday when Izuku started to show who was in charge of the place, I decided to show him who was in charge of the place, wasn't that right Izuku? Hearing Momo alone he began to tremble because of that, followed by looking at Momo to nod his head with a noticeable fear that everyone saw because of this. Kaminari. I don't know who to be more afraid of, Izuku or Momo. Everyone only agreed with Kaminari, but then Izawa arrived, who didn't seem very happy about the issue of the reporters there. Izawa. Today they have to choose the class president. Everyone that heard except the servants started shouting, giving reasons why they should be the class presidents, causing total chaos in the eyes of anyone with a little brain. Momo. Izuku, can you put some order? Izuku. Yes. At that point the place would start to get hotter than normal, causing everyone to start sweating and then slowly falling silent until everyone fell silent and Izuku stopped releasing heat in the place for everyone to look at him. Momo. I propose that we do it by votes, it would be better to do it by votes than by anything else, since this is real chaos. Mina. But if we all do it, we'll end up voting for ourselves. Momo. Let's just say the votes once and for all, and whoever has the most votes will be the class president. Everyone upon hearing that just began to reason until they began to pay some attention to Momo so that they could start voting, ending with the votes as Momo the president and Lita the vice president before everyone's eyes so that the two of them could go to the front with their servants following them to stay behind them. Momo. I'll just tell you that I'll do my best. Bakugo. And if we don't want to listen to you? Momo. You can talk to Izuku. He said this while pointing at Izuku, who just took a very large piece of wood to apply pressure with one hand and destroy it, scaring everyone with his unfeeling face, making everyone afraid. 11. Izawa. Okay, everyone go eat. With that, everyone went to the dining room, staying there calmly as if nothing had happened. Mina. I'd like to know how Izuku is so scary. Momo. Come on, it's not that scary, it's adorable, look, Izuku. The boy only came closer to put his head close and began to be caressed by the brunette. Momo. Come on, he's not someone to be that scared of. The girl only let me touch Izuku so that he would get away from her, but before they said anything she ran the alarm, causing everything to start getting into chaos as everyone ran around the place, but when Momo got into the crowd causing her to be about to be stepped on by the others so that Izuku took her in his arms and in one jump he was in front of everyone. Momo. They're just reporters, Izuku, you can calm them down. Izuku just stood in front of everyone who ran straight towards him, but the boy just punched the ground, causing a huge tremor in the place, so that everyone fell to the floor to see Izuku and Momo. Momo. Thanks Izuku, if I can have everyone's attention, the issue is that they are just reporters who came in. Hearing that, everyone calmed down and went to their classrooms. Izawa. Everyone listen to me well, in a few days we will go to the USJ. Lita. Teacher, can I take a test tomorrow? Izawa. What test? Lita. My servants. Izawa. It's okay, you can do it, but be aware that you can receive help from your classmates. Lita. Yes. With that everyone went to their houses where Momo the girl was lying on the couch while she had her head on Izuku's chest, since they were in front of the fireplace being very calm the two together. Momo. Lita will surely ask us for help. Izuku. Momo, one thing. Momo. What? Izuku. If they do the test tomorrow, I want you to know that when they do the test, I won't be able to help you with anything. Momo. It's okay, don't worry, nothing will happen to me. Izuku. One more thing, when you enter Minetta's world, his quirk will increase in size, so it will be more difficult to go against him. Momo just took him by the head to give the boy a kiss, calming him down, since she noticed that he was nervous about her. Momo. Everything will be okay, nothing bad will happen to me. Izuku. Yes. They just stayed until they fell asleep on the couch. Chapter 6. After class 1 has elected Momo as their president, apart from having to control the UA with the help of Izuku, so that the notice is given to go to the USJ. At this moment you can see the green-haired boy and the dark-haired girl lying on the couch until they woke up. Izuku. Hello Momo. Momo. Hello Izuku. The girl gave him a kiss to get up and Izuku made breakfast. Momo. I still don't understand how you make a good breakfast. And that they just went with the others being calm. Mina. Lita ready to take the test. Lita. Yes, but I would like to ask for your help. Todoroki. I already imagined this. Mineta. Well, I'll leave the portal open for them. The sphere is then left floating in place. Bakugo. Come on or what? At that everyone entered the sphere, everyone passing through the portal saw the place being a bunch of purple spheres. Todoroki. What a strange place. Mineta. Well, the world of servants is adapted for us. Bakugo. Speaking of servants, where are they? Momo. Our servants cannot interfere in the testing of other servants. Lie. That's right, you are very well informed. If a servant tries to intervene in another servant's test, he receives a very unpleasant punishment until the test is over, but the best part is that I can do whatever I want to you. He said it with a perverted face that freaked the girls out. Mineta. Well, let the test begin. He said this to start jumping between the spheres. Lita. Well, remember that Mineta's spheres are made to be as sticky as possible. Hearing that, everyone just agreed and started looking for Mineta around the place. Jiru. The location doesn't help much, the dwarf is purple, and the location is purple. Momo. That's what the test is about. Everyone walked around the place calmly. Todoroki. Hey, come on. Everyone came closer to see Mineta resting peacefully in the place lying on one of the spheres. Lita. Well, now we just have to catch it. Mina. Come on. Momo. Wait, we have to make a plan. Bakugo. I'll blast his face until I get tired. Momo. No, his powers increased a lot in this place. Mina. Then let's make a plan and make it a good one. At that they began to make a plan, while Mineta just laid there more than bored. Mineta. They're already taking too long. With that, he jumped, dodging Todoroki's ice. Mineta. That was close. And that he saw how more ice was coming, making him dodge more of the ice so that he could jump more, but he had to dodge holding on to Mina, apart from some explosions from Sato and Shoji while in another part. Lita. How much longer does he have? Jiru. He's almost there to come to us, all that's left is for Momo to make her part of her. Elsewhere Momo was ready to make Mienta go one way, when she saw the green-haired man she only went against him to start following him, Mineta seeing her could only run because of this to avoid the brunette. Momo followed him with a sword to a part where she stepped by accident causing her to fall on the floor dragging herself, but when she got up she took a few steps back, but because of this, she ended up in a very large Mienta ball, causing her to get trapped without being able to move. Momo. Damn. At that Mineta poked his head out to see the trapped brunette and approached little by little. Mineta. Go, now you are in my hands. Momo. Get away from me, you bastard dwarf. Mineta. We're going to have fun. He was about to touch Momo, but out of nowhere he moved away with a giant paw so that he could see a very large being. The huge dragon only began to roar and growl, causing Mineta to move away even further, but out of nowhere, lightning struck the dragon, causing it to roar in pain as it threw itself down. Mineta. Stupid Izuku, you forgot that you are punished for wanting to intervene, until the test is over you will not be able to stop being punished, and I would like to see you afterward if you survive. Momo hearing that saw the dragon already knowing that it is Izuku who tried to protect her. Mineta. Now if you let me I have to have fun with a girl. He approached Momo, but in a second Izuku began to get up while looking at Mienta with clear anger to get him away from Momo. Mineta. How can you still be standing in that state with that? Momo. Izuku. The dragon just looked at her making her calm down because of this, the dragon just put Momo's enzyme on it to destroy the sphere where it was trapped to be in a protective way. Mineta. Don't think it'll be that easy. He began to throw his balls at him, but upon full contact with Izuku's body they were destroyed. Mineta. How is this possible? At this point he is taken by Lita. Lita. I got you. By doing so, the rays stopped hitting Izuku, so he would throw himself to the ground on one side to avoid falling on Momo. Smoke came out of Izuku's body, so Momo would run to his face. "Momo? You're okay." Izuku in his dragon form only opened his eyes to start flying to a point where a portal was made where he left. After that everyone left Minetta's world. Momo ran until she entered her house, but did not find Izuku, so she ran to where Izuku's apartment was where she entered seeing the servants with Izuku without anyone noticing. Hiroshima. Seriously, how could you get into a test? Haminari. You used your transformation and your powers to make things worse. Lie. That girl was going to be mine. Izuku. I wasn't going to let you mess with Momo. That's when they noticed the brunette there. Hiroshima. I better go. Haminari. I'm following you. Everyone left except Izuku who had some bandages, but before he could say anything Momo threw enzyme at him. Momo. Thank you very much, but you worried me a lot when I realized it was you. Izuku. I'm so sorry, I'll try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Hug Momo to relax. Chapter 7. After they did Minetta's test successfully passing it, although Izuku had to get in a little to prevent the little pervert from doing something to Momo. At this moment you can see Izuku in his bed in his apartment and there was no one around him, making him wonder what was happening. When he went out he saw the brunette making breakfast. Momo. Hello Izuku. Izuku. Hello. Momo. What's wrong? Don't tell me it's surprising for you to see me making breakfast. Izuku. A little bit yes. Momo. I had to do something, after all I couldn't let you make breakfast after saving me yesterday. Izuku only had breakfast with them so that some time later they went to the UA where they saw everyone and then they took the bus to go to the UA. Lita. Minetta's world was a bit weird yesterday. Minetta. Yeah, whatever, since yesterday you can go to my world whenever you want. Shoji. I wonder what the other worlds are like. Hiroshima. Well, mine is one where there are mountains. Haminari. Mine where there is a lot of electricity. Toru. Mine is normal like this. Ajiro. I only have one place where I have to do martial arts. Okoyami. There's a lot of darkness in mine. Everyone looked at Izuku. Izuku? What? Mina. It's what they said about their worlds, and we believe that if we all go to those worlds we can beat them. Izuku. Because they are simple. Jiro. So how is your test? Izuku. In mine, everyone who tried it never managed to complete even half of it. And that they arrived at the USJ where they entered to see the place completely until just like the original story the villains entered. Izawa. 13 Get the students out of here. Izawa went against the villains, while 13 took everyone, but Kurogiri got involved. Kurogiri. Hello, we are the League of Villains and we came to kill All Might. Izuku. You plan to send us to different areas of the place because your quirk lets you do that. Kurogiri. Yes. Izuku. Well, I'm telling you that I won't let you take me away from my lady Momo. And that he gave him a blow that sent him flying far away from the place, but when they saw Izawa being tortured by the Nomu. Tamura. Since I don't have many villains left in this area then Nomu kills those guys. Nomu only went against the students, but when 13 tried to do something the Nomu hit him leaving him injured. All. Professor. At that point the Nomu was in front of Momo about to hit her. Momo's mind. This is my end. When he struck, a cloud of dust was created, but when it left, Izuku was seen in front of the Nomu, as if nothing had happened with his arm extended. Izuku. I won't let you hurt Momo. Then he hits him, sending him flying. Izuku. Answer my call, divine weapon burning. Everyone saw how the sword destroyed the roof of the place and ended up in Izuku's hands, who walked until he was seen by the villains. Izuku. They tried to harm Momo, and that's why I'll have to destroy them. Tamura. Nomu, take care of him. The Nomu went against Izuku, but he only looked at him to give him a blow that sent him flying, and with one jump he ended up in front of the Nomu, who watched as with his sword, he cut off his arm in front of everyone's eyes, but the Nomu made his arm come back to try to hit Izuku, who in response to that he only returned it sending him flying, as if nothing happened in front of everyone's eyes so they could see how Izuku with one cut of his sword made a line of destruction, apart from doing great damage to the Nomu who looked at him. Izuku. You're ready to die. Tamura. You will never be able to defeat my Nomu, the more hits he receives the stronger he becomes, he is the ultimate weapon to kill All Might. Izuku. So the ultimate weapon, then I will check it myself. He turned to see the Nomu who hit him sending him flying, causing him to end up crashing into the demolition area, followed by going against the green-haired man, who in the face of this, only dodged the Nomu's blow to grab him by the arm and throw him away, followed by grabbing him by the leg and slamming him against the floor, but the Nomu freed himself to dig his claws into Izuku which he saw as he hit him in the face sending him flying, so that the Nomu with a blow of the mallet sent him to the floor and fell on him to begin giving him several blows in the place all over Izuku's body. Haminari. He won't be able to handle that. Mina. He's just a servant. Momo. Izuku. At that, a glow appeared and the Nomu flew out before everyone's eyes and Izuku left the crater to walk to the Nomu. Izuku. Meteor strikes. In that flurry of blows that felt like a meteor hit the Nomu leaving him in a bad state, but he was healing. Izuku. Divine axe. He kicked him causing him to be sent flying, but he saw how the Nomu went against him, so he was going to respond with a punch, but when he did a portal was generated being Kurogiri making him fail, so that the Nomu began to hit Izuku, not letting he defended himself or covered himself, but this didn't matter to him, and he hit him sending him flying, and with his sword he made a cut, but the Nomu healed himself although he didn't count on Izuku starting to give him a rain of attacks, not giving him the slightest chance to react. Izuku. I'll end this, critical hit, heaven devour. He threw his sword back to make a cut from hitting above the Nomu and in the process destroyed the roof revealing the sky, but the Nomu fell before Izuku was unable to move although alive. Izuku. The fight is over. At that the heroes entered through the doors. All Might. I'm here. Tamura. Let's go. Kurogiri. But the Nomu. Tamura. Forget it. But that they left, but everyone noticed something that left them in shock and it was that the sky was divided into two parts by Izuku's attack. Izuku. This means I can rest now. He said this as he fell to the floor, unconscious, in front of everyone's eyes. Chapter 8. After Class 1 was attacked by the League of Villains in which Izuku was in charge of fighting, defeating the villains apart from the Nomu, demonstrating enormous strength never before seen by anyone, so that at this moment everyone was in their class being very calm, but a certain brunette was worried. Jiru. Come on Momo, it's okay. Momo. But since he fought that thing, he stayed in his own world. Todoroki. At least I'm leaving you a way to have it. He said this while looking at the sword that the brunette had since Izuku fought and fell unconscious and became a sword. Momo. I don't understand why he stayed like this. Haminari. That's because he just got into a fight. Momo. What do you mean? Okoyami. We can fight, but if we give more than we can give we have to rest so it remains in a way in which we can serve our masters while we recover our strength. Toru. He probably chose that way to protect you while he's gone. Momo. How long will it take? Hiroshima. I put up a great fight, it will surely take days, barely a whole day passed. At that, a flash of light appeared before everyone as the sword disappeared and Izuku was seen standing there. Izuku. Do you need me for something? Everyone just looked at him. Izuku. Did something happen? Hiroshima. I've never seen anyone recover so quickly. Izuku. It's something I'm used to. Lita. It is true that we have to remember that he fought in wars. At that point Izawa came in, making everyone sit in their seats. Izawa. Well, as everyone knows we were attacked by the League of Villains, but we will not let that stop us and we are going to do the sports festival. Saying that, everyone got excited. Izawa. By the way, your servants can also be at the festival with your permission. Saying this, the servants also saw everyone looking at him. Lita. But sensei, isn't this a bit unfair to the servants? Izawa. It's just that after what happened at USJ with Izuku, we decided that they should participate in the festival with their permission. Haminari. Let us participate. Jiru. I'll think about it. At that point everyone tried to leave, but they saw everyone at the entrance of the place. Momo. You can let us go. Nobody paid attention to them. Izuku. Momo, do you want me to take care of it? Momo. No need. Kendo. Hello, I'm Kendo from Class B, I see you have a good slave. Momo. In fact I decide to call him a friend rather than a servant. Kendo. That's stupid, a servant will always be a servant. Momo. At least I show that I treat other people better and it makes me feel better. Kendo. What are you talking about? Momo. To be honest, you just seem less like a person and more like a girl who thinks she's too much when the truth is that it's nothing more than scum, well at least I can be seen as a better girl that they can trust. Kendo. You damn thing. Kendo was going to try to hit Momo just like Monoma, but when they were going to hit him a green-haired man stepped in front, stopping the two fists, as if it were nothing. Izuku. I won't let them hurt Momo, no matter what happens to me, I swear that I would never let someone end up hurting her. Monoma. And what will you do? Izuku looked at him causing him to get scared by this, so he took a step back just like Kendo, and everyone who noticed that look did the same. Izuku. Do you want to check it out? Momo. Let's go Izuku. The boy just turned around to leave with his mistress. Mina. Momo, if Izuku wasn't a servant, he would swear that the two of them are boyfriends, but luckily they aren't. Momo. What do you mean by saying that we are not lucky? Mina. It's that we can claim it for ourselves. He said this as he began to touch Izuku all over his body, but when he was moving towards his neck he noticed something. Mina. This is a bite. He said this while looking at a kind of bite on Izuku's neck, who only put his clothes on well, not letting the mark be seen. Mina. And it's not an animal bite. Izuku. It's that in my fight against that Nomu one of his blows sent me to the ground and hurt my neck, I barely healed most of my body, and I'm left like this. Jiro. Explains it a bit. Momo. Anyway, eat Izuku. The green-haired man accompanied her to a point. Momo. Izuku, I need something. Izuku. What is it? Momo. If you can train me, I saw your combat art apart from your power and sword style, that's why I want you to train me. Izuku. Okay. On the floor making a kind of portal I take out a sword. Izuku. This sword has been in a tomb for over 1,000 years. Momo. And what's so special about it? Izuku. The one who forged it was a genius because its strength and edge are so if it were a newly made sword, you are going to train with this sword. Momo. Really? Izuku. Yes, apart from that you will have to run, lift weights, do sit-ups and other things. Momo. How did you get it? Izuku's mind. I think he didn't hear me. Izuku. I got it from one of my previous masters. Momo. And how do you get it out of nowhere? Izuku. When I got her I left her in my world, I have an arsenal of weapons stored there. Momo. Can I have one more of those swords? Izuku. No. Momo. Why? Izuku. Until you take my test you won't be able to have any other sword than that one, since you'll be limited to a single item. Momo. Well, I just have to catch you. Izuku. In fact, that was Mienta's test, each servant has a different test that they themselves will set the rules for how to pass. Momo. Okay, but how about we have a good time in the meantime? He said this while having Izuku against the wall. Chapter 9. After the announcement was made that the sports festival would be held so that everyone was in the place to do the festival, since the sports month passed in which Izuku defeated Momo who ended up very tired from Izuku's training, Izuku was with the entire class 1-2. Izuku. I still don't understand why you order me to participate. Momo. It's just that you are someone strong and as a hero's helper everyone has to see it. Izuku. I seriously still can't believe it. Haminari. Well, if you participate you'll beat us all. Izuku. About that, let's say that I didn't recover all my power. Hiroshima. What are you talking about? Izuku. I don't have my power at 100% because I haven't fought for a long time, so I have to get used to it again. Bakugo. Then we won't be able to fight with your full power. Izuku. I'm afraid not. Bakugo. Then this will be easier. Izuku. Whatever, I'll get ready. Bakugo. I'm going to be first. Lie. I wouldn't say that. Lita. What do you mean? Before the little dwarf could say anything his mouth was covered by Ajiro. Ajiro. You're welcome, he's just a little idiot. At that everyone left so that Bakugo could begin to say the same thing from the original story. Midnight. The first part of the sports festival will be a race in which everyone will run, and depending on the number of those who pass will be those who go to the second part. Everyone got ready to run until they heard the race start, at which point Todoroki froze the entrance, but everyone left like the original story. Izuku. Momo, do you want help? Momo. No, I'd like to do it on my own. Izuku. Okay. In that way they all began to run, but while Todoroki was running he noticed Izuku next to him. Todoroki. When? Izuku. You'll see how strong I am. The boy was going faster and faster, surpassing Todoroki, but he noticed the 0-point robots, so Izuku took out his sword to start destroying parts of the robots as he passed through them. Momo. I hope this works. At that she also took out her sword so that Izuku could give her to start cutting some of the robots, and everything was seen by her family. Momo. It seems that Izuku trained her. Momo. It was to be expected that she became very strong with that. Momo. It seems so. At the festival, Izuku kept running until the part where he passed through the robots to the point where he arrived at what seemed to be a cliff and there was only a rope in place. Izuku. Do you really think this will leave me behind? He said this while looking at Todoroki with an ice bridge, so he just jumped to go through the whole place, as if nothing happened until he passed through the place to run through the place, until they reached a part where there were explosives. Izuku. This gets better. He felt something from behind, so he looked for a moment seeing Mineta jump on top of Momo. Momo. If that filthy little rat so much as lays a finger on my daughter, I'll kill him. He saw how Izuku appeared out of nowhere, hitting him, sending him flying as if nothing had happened. Izuku. Don't you dare touch her or you die. Mineta. That hurt. Momo. Thank you. Izuku. You're welcome. At the Aoirozu house, Momo's mother stood up while pretending to hit something. Momo. That's how you do it, Izuku, that's how you stick. Momo. Relax, darling. Out of nowhere he received a blow from his wife while running. 15. Momo. Okay Izuku, go and win. Izuku. Yes. The boy just started running, but little by little, he increased his speed to the point of running at a great speed to the point that he didn't care about stepping on an explosive, since it exploded after Izuku had moved away a great distance. As if nothing, Izuku ran until he passed through the middle of Bakugo and Todoroki. Bakugo. Damn. At that point an explosion was heard, and they saw Izumi, who reached a part where the girl used Todoroki and Bakugo to be able to use them as a support and explode the other explosives in that way, arriving next to Izuku, who noticed it. He might. It seems we are about to see who will be in first place. Midnight. First place goes to. There they saw a person. Midnight. Izumi Midoriya, and the second is for Izuku. Everyone saw this and was surprised since it was announced who was next, and it was not believed that Izuku would come in second place or be close. After that everyone in the class began to pass, and to the green-haired boy's delight his teacher passed through the door on time. Mina. Momo, may I know where you got that sword? Momo. Yes, Izuku gave it to me apart from teaching me how to handle it. Izuku. The most important thing is that you passed through the door on time. Momo. Yes. Todoroki. That sword looks very sharp. Ajiro. Although old. Momo. According to Izuku, this sword is very old apart from being in a tomb for years, but without needing to be sharpened or having anything when it came out of the tomb, it was still sharp apart from its resistance, as if it had just been made. Bakugo. Can you tell me how many things he has done? Izuku. Many. Jiro. Wait, that means you can have any of Izuku's weapons. Momo. No, I have to take Izuku's test so I can use all his stuff from him. Kirishima. How did you get those weapons? Izuku. All my masters who died had their abilities apart from their weapons, or they gave me weapons. Chapter 10. After the sports festival began, being the first part in which Izuku came in second place apart from showing how he protected Momo from Mienta, no matter what happened, so now everyone stayed in the middle of the festival, ready to see what the next part of the festival would be. Midnight. The next part of the festival is a Team 1. I would begin to explain what the next part of the festival would be like. Midnight. The time to assemble your team begins. At that point everyone would start looking for someone to team up with. Izuku. Now who can I team up with? The boy was thinking until they approached him. Lita. Izuku, you can team up with us. The green-haired boy looked at him as he was part of Todoroki and Momo's team too. Izuku. Well, no one else would want to team up with a servant anyway. Momo. Come on, don't say that, you're someone very strong. He touched the green-haired man's cheek, who just looked at him with his typical emotionless face. Everyone formed their teams with Izuku taking Kaminari's place. Midnight. Ready, begin. In this way everyone began to go against Izumi's team, while a few went against Todoroki's team, who only looked at this, so that Momo would give Todoroki a bar which made ice, keeping them away. Todoroki. Lita, get us out of here. The blue-haired boy would just start running as if nothing had happened, passing through all the teams until they stopped at one point. Momo. Izuku, can you do something to keep everyone in shock for a few moments? Izuku. Yeah, just wait a moment and try to stay standing. That made the team have to prepare for whatever Izuku would do. In the green-haired man's hand, a kind of transparent white sphere formed that covered his entire hand, so that an earthquake would start in the place, causing everyone except Izumi's team who were in the air, and Izuku's team in one way or another was the least affected, so that everyone else was on the ground. Todoroki. Lita. Lita. Yes. That way he would start running, so that Todoroki would pass between the teams taking the points, as if it were nothing until they had enough points to pass. Momo. Now what? Izuku. It would be best to keep our distance from them. Lita. Why? Izuku. We have enough time to get through, let's not risk it. Everyone would just look to pay attention to the boy, and that way they would start running away from the other teams without any problem, until Todoroki saw Izumi's team remembering that he said he was going to defeat her. Todoroki. Change of plans, we'll have to attack one more team. Izuku understood what he meant. Momo. But Izuku's advice. Izuku. Momo, Todoroki has something special now apart from being just a team, leave it. The brunette only paid attention so that they could go against Izumi's team, creating a wall of ice surrounding the two teams with a large amount of ice. Izumi. It's Todoroki. Tokoyami. What do we do? Uraraka. Mei's boots don't work and we have nowhere to run. Izumi. Then we will go against them. They started running just like Todoroki's team so that Bakugo would appear, the same thing happening in the original story. Midnight. The remaining teams will move on to the next part, but before everything they will take a break. Everyone just watched this and left for a while, taking advantage of the rest that was being given to them. Momo. Izuku. Izuku. Yes. Momo. You don't have to be with me all the time, you can be with the boys. Izuku looked at her to nod and leave with the boys to another place, being calm. Izuku was walking with all of them to a point where they were by the games, and Izuku saw what seemed to be some pirate ships, which surrounded a place that Marin said. Izuku had a small memory in which you can see a big man who carried a spear and fought against the marines until one arrived, and his clothes had Admiral written on the back until the memory went away because the girls were close, and Momo noticed this. Momo. Are you okay, Izuku? Izuku. Yes, it's just a memory. The brunette saw the green-haired boy wanting to cry, but he didn't let that happen. Momo's mind. She doesn't want to show her emotions. Mina. Hey, do servants have levels or something? Hiroshima. We have social rank, so to speak, since we are distinguished especially by those who fight. Lita. And what are those like? Haminari. Those who fight have a mark on their body with a sign of their rank. Jiru. How? Izuku raised his hand to start showing images. Izuku. First is Dan 1, the first category that anyone with a quirk can overcome. These marks and signs appear on parts of our bodies. Izuku. Then you eat the second one. Izuku. The third one. Izuku. The fourth. Mina. That one changes color. Izuku. Yes, from the room the colors change. Izuku. The fifth one, which leaves us in a position where we can fight against people with quirks that are obviously not very strong. Izuku. The sixth. Izuku. The seventh one that changes its color again, and from this one we can fight with people with medium quirks. Izuku. The eighth. Izuku. The ninth one that already lets us fight people with strong quirks. Izuku. And the 10th is the last position on the scale. Sato. It must be amazing to have those ranks. Zero. That's right, what rank are they? Hiroshima. I'm first. Haminari. Same. Ajiro. We are all first. Mina. And how do you go up the ranks? Hiroshima. We don't know how. Izuku. Killing. Everyone looked at him in surprise. Izuku. If you fight another servant in a death battle or a common battle, you have to win to move up in rank. In death, as the name says, you have to kill, and in common ones you can save or kill. Todoroki. And you already kill yourself. Izuku. I don't want to talk about that. Momo looked at that look again and was grateful that they were at some tables so she could hold his hand without anyone noticing. Chapter 11. After the second part of the sports festival ended, apart from explaining the ranks of a servant in terms of battle, so that everyone could sit calmly in the stands watching the first fights being Izumi's against Shinso, happening like the original story, and Todoroki against Zero, which goes without saying, but before all that, Momo could be seen with the girls who were wearing cheerleader clothes. Momo. If Izuku sees me like this, he'll think I'm a slut, damn Mineta. That's when Izuku appeared. Momo. Izuku. Izuku. Momo. Momo. Izuku, I can explain it to you. Izuku. Those clothes look good on you. Momo. Really? She had a blush that no one noticed. Izuku. Yes. Mina. Damn Mineta, Izuku deceived us. Momo. Right about that, you can help us with the clothing issue and beat up Mineta. Izuku. Okay. That way I took out clothes for the girls while I went for Mineta. After a while, Mineta was no longer anywhere apart from that it was Izuku's turn. Momo. Izuku, be careful. Izuku. I'll have to not hurt the girl too much. Momo. You know I don't mean that. Izuku. I'll be fine. The boy went to the platform to fight. Midnight. Now from Class B, Abara against Izuku, a servant from Class A. Monoma. Your partner is lost, those of Class A are useless. Momo. Don't be so sure, Izuku is very strong. Everyone saw the two of them go up. Midnight. Ready. The two looked at each other. Midnight. Begin. That way Bara would use her hair to catch Izuku, but the boy would break the hair without any problem to start walking against the girl. The Bara. So you are strong. The girl would use her hair again to attack Izuku, but when the attack hit him squarely in the front, the boy continued to advance without any problem in front of the girl, who looked at this to stop attacking him, so that Izuku's body could be seen with his scars, since Abara's attack destroyed the upper part of his clothes, but the boy had a look of determination that he was not going to stop for anything in the world. Although the thing that caught the attention of Class 1 the most was that Izuku had bandages covering his chest and back. Abara. But how? My attack hit you squarely. Izuku. Your attack is nothing against me. The girl would begin to back away out of fear of Izuku until she was in front of him. Izuku. To be honest, I don't like hurting women because I consider it an act of cowardice to attack weaker people. Midnight. Izuku is the winner. The bar would be confused but would look at the floor seeing that one of her feet was outside her, depressing the girl, but then she would look at Izuku's body making her blush. Mina. I still don't know how you hold back your desire, Momo, to not rape him. I already had him tied up and chained in my bed. Momo. What can I say, I have my secrets. The fights continued until it was Momo's turn, although she was accompanied by Izuku. Izuku. I trust you Momo, my training will be useless if you get cold feet or nervous. Momo. But I'm really nervous, my parents are watching me and my opponent is. She was silenced by a kiss from Izuku that calmed her down. Izuku. Now with that attitude you have to go and fight. The girl went with complete confidence to the platform. When Midnight gave them permission to start, Momo went against Tokoyami who activated Dark Shadow, but the brunette dodged it and taking advantage of the fact that she knew about Tokoyami's weakness, she took out something to give light like a flashlight. When Dark Shadow was close, Momo activated it, causing Dark Shadow to have to back away before everyone's eyes so that Momo would go against Tokoyami and take out her staff to start hitting Tokoyami to the point that he ended up off the platform. Mina. It was amazing how you beat Tokoyami. Momo. It was N''T that bad, I just used his weakness. That's when the next fight happened until the second round, being Izuku against Lita so that the two could look at each other. Lita. I'll try not to be so rude. Izuku. We'll see about that. Midnight. Begin. Lita went at full speed against Izuku, who only dodged his blows to the surprise of the blue-haired man, only to receive a kick from Izuku that pushed him away, followed by another kick from the green-haired man that sent him flying through the air, but Izuku appeared above him to give him one more kick, sending him making a crater in the floor. Lita. What great strength, didn't he say that he could only use very little of his power? Izuku. And that's how it is, I didn't use all my power in a long time, except for the wear and tear I didn't recover from that Nomu, and the fact that we're not in my world leaves me very weak. Lita. That can't be true. Izuku. Well, I'm afraid so. Lita only got up to go against Izuku who was watching this. Izuku. There are people who never learn. He said this so that Lita was behind him about to kick him, but Izuku hit him sending him flying, causing him to make a line of destruction on the floor until he ended up off the platform surprising everyone. Midnight. The winner is Izuku. No one had a word in the face of what they had just seen of how a servant has that level. Midnight. Next fight Mina against Momo. The two girls came forward ready to fight. Mina went against Momo to throw her acid at her, but the brunette covered herself with her shield to see the pink-haired girl, only to hit her causing her to move away, but before Mina could do anything the brunette with her staff went to attack Mina, who couldn't avoid Momo's attacks which hit her in every part of her body, not letting the girl have a chance to defend herself until at one point Momo stopped attacking, so Mina fell to the floor unconscious. Midnight. The winner is Momo. At the Aoi Rozu house. Momo. Yes, my daughter is moving on to the semi-finals. Momo. I'm still wondering what level Izuku is at. He said this while a camera was pointed at Izuku who was calm. Chapter 12. After the first and second round of the sports festival of the third part was done in which Izuku humiliated Lita in a great way apart from defeating Ibara moving on to the semi-finals, in which everyone was excited to see the next fight since it was about Todoroki the son of the number 2 hero and Izuku the servant who has shown great power. Momo. Izuku, be very careful this time, Todoroki is not someone to be taken lightly. Izuku. I know, I'll be able to win easily, don't worry. The boy went down to go to the platform. He might. On one side is the ice pillar of Ue Todoroki. Everyone started shouting with joy. He might. And on the other hand, someone we did N''T expect to go this far, will this be his end, Izuku? Everyone watched as the two boys walked out of the huge doors so calmly. Todoroki. This definitely won't be an easy fight. Izuku. I just hope you give me something I'm looking for. Todoroki. And what is it? Izuku. A worthy defeat. Todoroki. Then I'll give it to you. Midnight. Begin. Todoroki threw a huge amount of ice that Izuku broke with his hands in one fell swoop to the delight of the crowd, but Todoroki had a smile since it was what he wanted. Todoroki. I got you. The boy made a pile of ice completely surround them followed by Todoroki, making a kind of ice mountain in which he was above him, while Izuku who was below was only inside a mist which was made of ice because of the cold. Todoroki. I definitely froze him, there's no way he can get out of that place. When they were going to declare Todoroki the winner, out of nowhere, footsteps were heard on the platform, so they could see how the green-haired man got off the ice without any problem, and with each step the ice was destroyed more. Todoroki. Why didn't my ice work? Izuku. Of course it didn't work, because I would freeze from the ice of someone who is much weaker than me. Todoroki. Now that's pride. Izuku. Because that's what I am, I'm Izuku, the pride of servants and swordsmen. He said this while standing above Todoroki since he was a few centimeters taller than the Vickler, but something that surprised all the servants was a symbol he had on his chest next to his heart, and the symbol was surrounded by words that no one understood except the servants. Mineta. How is this possible? Haminari. Seriously, what is it? Ajiro. We could have died at any moment. Momo. Very interesting, very interesting. Momo. You can tell what's going on. Mina. Yes, why all the fuss about that simple separate mark that says those words? Haminari. As Izuku said, the 10th Dan is the last rank among the normal ones. Izumi. Normal. Ajiro. Yes, above a Dan is what is considered an elite warrior, the first being a warrior. Ajiro. Then come the heroes. Kirishima. The champion. Tokoyami. The master. Ajiro. And finally the almost impossible or directly impossible to achieve the legend. Mina. So Izuku is a master, that's what those words mean. Kirishima. No, it has more meanings, which is his nickname within our world. Haminari. And it is. Momo. Shadow. Mineta. Shadow is considered one of the most powerful apart from the fact that almost no one could complete his test, being a total of 2% of those who could. Kirishima. Shadow had thousands of masters in his life, but they all died in their test of him, they didn't complete it and gave it up or they didn't do it at all. Jiru. Although that patch on the back doesn't make sense. Kirishima. It's something he's hiding. That surprised everyone, so they said apart from that the patch he had on his back was very large, so he had something he didn't want everyone to see, well something else was happening in the fight. Todoroki. I really hope this is fun. Izuku. That's right, I hope, besides we don't want your fire to affect the ice, because otherwise it would take the fun out of the fight. Todoroki made a pillar of ice hit Izuku in the face, followed by another one that sent him down, making a line of destruction, so that Todoroki could send more ice, leaving Izuku with his gaze down, so that Todoroki would approach, but when he was going to say something he covered part of his body with ice, avoiding a blow from Izuku that ended up moving him away in front of everyone, so that Todoroki ended up on his knees. Izuku. What's up? You found a coin. Shoji. Incredible, he made his kneel and that blocked his attack. Izuku just looked at Todoroki, who got up to go against Izuku, who received it squarely, but the ice broke apart from the fact that the boy advanced, but at a slow pace to hit him squarely, causing him to be sent flying before everyone's eyes, but Todoroki was not far behind, as he made a wall of ice separating him from Izuku, so that the green-haired boy would be covered in ice, but in a second he broke all the ice as if it were nothing to continue walking, but Todoroki threw his fire at him, causing him to have to dodge it. Izuku. You are strong. Todoroki. Thanks, I say the same. Izuku. As a show of respect I will throw this. He said this while making a sphere the size of his hand like a sun to be thrown, but the Vi-color immediately launched its fire and ice against Izuku's attack to make it explode. The explosion caused the Vi-color to go backwards, but he was able to avoid it using his ice, stopping it from leaving the platform. Todoroki. What enormous power. Izuku. And I haven't used it for a long time, I think I lost my touch a bit, as you say, Todoroki. Todoroki. I say I'm going to defeat you. He made a huge amount of ice to go against Izuku, who looked at this to dodge the Vickler, as if it were nothing, and hit him, sending him flying, but Todoroki threw more ice, along with an immense amount of fire that Izuku was going to dodge, but he noticed that there were people behind him and among them was Momo, so he stayed to receive the attack, fully making a large cloud of dust. Momo. Izuku. The brunette screamed desperately to see the result, while Todoroki had a smile, but that smile went away when he saw the green-haired man come out with some blood coming out of his body from all the dust. Izuku. That hurts a little. Todoroki. Damn it. The Vickler began to take out its two sides while putting its hands together, making an attack ready to launch it, while Izuku took a big breath of air. When Todoroki released his full power, Izuku took out a huge amount of fire from his mouth, causing the attacks to collide with each other, making a huge explosion. Midnight. The winner is. They watched as the dust cleared to reveal a standing Izuku and a Todoroki lying on the floor. Midnight. Izuku. Everyone was in shock at the outcome of the fight. Chapter 13. After the semi-finals of Izuku against Todoroki were given, in which Izuku was the winner of the fight, apart from that which showed his rank within the slave society, revealing that his rank is that of master before the eyes of everyone, and that the servants explained who Ronin was and why he was so feared among them and his enormous power. At this moment Izuku was in the stands before the eyes of everyone. Mineta. Hello Izuku. He said it with noticeable fear as he looked at Izuku, who sat down. Jiru. Izuku, can I ask a question? Izuku. Yes. Jiru. How do you have so many powers? Izuku. You see, when a master does not pass the servant test, he lets him go, but if he manages to pass the servant test, as you know, the master can use his powers. Everyone agreed. Izuku. Well, when the servant dies before the master, either due to old age or because he sacrificed himself, nothing happens, but when the master dies before the servant, the master's powers automatically become the servant's. Haminari. Then that explains why you have so many powers. Izuku. Yes. Flashback. You can see a green-haired man next to a bunch of pirates next to some people in white clothes, but the most important thing was a very big man. Shirohige. Run, my children. Izuku. Father, I'll help you. Shirohige. No, you have to run. Izuku. Never. The two fought until Shirohige died and everyone was standing in front of his grave. Izuku. Father, even though you are not my real father, you made me see you as one among all my masters. Apart from giving me my great power and completing my test, you have shown me what a father's love is like. I will never forget that you were the man who was never hurt from behind because you always showed your face. He said it to go to a portal somewhere else. Esclavo. Goodbye, friends, Captain, King, Diane, Merlin, Gother, Ban and Izuku. Izuku. Goodbye, Esclavo-sama. Esclavo. Just tell me, Esclavo. Izuku looked at him with a smile. Izuku. I will never forget you as long as I have your power, the most arrogant man, but with the power to justify it. In this way Esclavo went to ashes. Meliodas. Izuku, you'll be fine. Ban. Right, you can be with us. King. You helped us a lot during the war and the Demon King. Izuku. Thanks, but no, my job is done. Merlin. Wait, Esclavo, I left a gift for you in case this happens. Out of nowhere a sword appeared in front of Izuku. Merlin. This sword is harder and more resistant, apart from being heavy compared to Esclavo's axe, it has many functions. Izuku. Thank you very much, I'll call her Burning, goodbye deadly sins. In that way he went through a portal, elsewhere in a guild called Fairy Tail. They had already fought against Acnologia, and everyone was at a party. Izuku. Do you want something, Gilderts? Gilderts. No, Izuku, I actually wanted to tell you something very important. Izuku. What's wrong? Gilderts. From now on you are free, you are not my servant. Izuku looked at him. Izuku. Really? Gilderts. Yes, there is no need for you to stay with me any longer. Izuku. Goodbye, Gilderts, the strongest of Fairy Tail. He left through a portal, but not before bumping fists. End of flashback. Mina. Izuku, look, Momo is going to fight. Izuku came out of his precious memories to see Momo, who walked across the platform without fear in front of Bakugo. Midnight. Begin. Bakugo went against the brunette, who made a shield to protect herself from the ash-haired man's attack. Momo made a metal bar to attack Bakugo, who dodged it to try to hit Momo, who continued to protect herself with her shield, avoiding the ash-haired man's attacks, but little by little, the shield could not withstand the explosions, causing Momo to end up backing away, but Bakugo would not leave her alone for a moment. Bakugo. If I defeat you I can fight that damn slave. Bakugo gave one more explosion, causing the raven's shield to break into pieces before everyone's worried gaze, as the ash-haired man gave it a full explosion, causing a cloud of dust to form, but when it dispersed Momo could be seen getting up. Momo. That's all, Muslim. Bakugo went to give more explosions to the brunette, who could only stand them, although in the stands it was another story, since the boys tried to stop Izuku, who had his hands on the metal railings, and due to the force he put on them, the railings were beginning to break. Hiroshima. Calm down, Izu bro. Haminari. Don't do anything crazy. Izuku just stared at Bakugo, who kept exploding at his mistress, who after each cloud of dust rose, but each time with greater difficulty, due to having more and more wounds on her body. Izuku's mind. When it's my turn I will destroy the bastard. Izuku was getting closer and closer to ending up on the platform and destroying the ash-haired man, who didn't give Momo a break and even seemed to enjoy it. When Momo was about to fall off the platform, Bakugo grabbed her to throw her back into the center of it to continue the torture. Bakugo. Are you giving up already? Midnight. Momo, can you continue? Momo. Yes, I can still continue, but Bakugo, it's obvious that you never saw it coming. That filled the ash-haired man with doubts, but the brunette pulled out some kind of button. Momo. Goodbye. When she pressed the button it caused a gas to come out in front of Bakugo from some small bombs that the brunette made. Because of this he had to cover his mouth and nose with his hands, but he didn't take into account the fact that the girl had another button that she also pressed, causing more small bombs to explode on the edge of the platform where Bakugo was, causing him to fall to the floor. Midnight. The winner is Momo. Everyone celebrated, but someone wasn't very happy. Bakugo. Damn. The ash-haired man went against the raven-haired girl in order to give her an explosion, but when he was close he was sent flying against a wall, causing him to end up unconscious, and where Momo was in front of him was Izuku with an extended fist. Izuku. Never touch her again, you bastard. The boy turned around to approach Momo. Momo. Izuku. Izuku. Calm down, I'm here, you gave it your best, but now you have to rest. The girl only slept in Izuku's arms, who took her to the infirmary. Chapter 14. After Izuku has fought against Todoroki and Momo has fought against Bakugo, so that they would meet at the medals part, since Momo, being very injured, could not continue fighting, so they would let Izuku stay in first place. Everyone was watching how they gave the medals to everyone, with Bakugo being third place, Momo second and Izuku first. Midnight. Do our champions have anything to say? Izuku walked in front of everyone as he took off his medal. Izuku. To be honest, I don't deserve this medal. That surprised everyone because of the words of the green-haired man who had a neutral face, although a little serious as always. Izuku. This festival is only for people who put in 100% effort and gave their best, and to be honest, Momo is the one who deserves it. He gives the medal to the brunette who still hadn't gotten over the shock like everyone who was listening to Izuku. Izuku. She tried hard in this festival, she fought against Bakugo being someone stronger than her, but nevertheless she managed to defeat him. She couldn't fight for first place, and it's not because she's her servant, but because she showed the effort of her training, that's why she deserves it. Everyone was in shock at the words of the green-haired man who took a few steps back, leaving Momo in first place. Everyone just started applauding for such an action of the boy. When everything was over they went outside, where they saw many people asking for their autographs. Hiroshima. It seems that they already have admirers. They watched as many girls approached Izuku to give him kisses on the cheek. Mineta. I wish I was Izuku right now. Haminari. I wish. Everyone went to their houses that were close to UA, so that everyone could start relaxing, although Izuku was outside Momo's bathroom door. Momo. Izuku, you can go in but blindfolded. The boy did as requested to cover his eyes and enter the bathroom. Momo. Take off your clothes and get into the bathtub. Izuku only listened to him as he entered the bathtub, but when he got in, he felt a strap being put on him, so that the brunette could remove the blindfold just to kiss him on the mouth. Momo. You have to do a little thing that no girl dares to approach you. She said this while giving him a small bite on the neck, making the boy give a moan that he wanted to contain, making the girl have to contain herself so as not to rape him. When they finished bathing, they went to the bed where they lay down to be calmer, although Momo wanted to continue, but only stayed on Izuku's chest. Momo. Izuku, why don't you let anyone see your back? You're hiding something. Izuku, hearing that, sat up in bed, making the brunette think that she had just touched on a sensitive subject. Momo. Izuku, I'm sorry. He couldn't continue when he saw how he removed the bandages that covered his chest, revealing the master's mark as well as a new mark. Izuku. As you know, this is my master mark, while the other black mark on my chest is out of respect for one of my former masters. His name was Gilderts from a guild called Fairy Tail. He freed me from my charges, so I had to return to my world. He turned around to remove the patch he had on his back, revealing two marks. One was a lion, while there was another below revealing a face that had a smile along with a white beard. 15. Izuku. These two, the lion's one is from a man I respected. He was known as Esciner, the Lion of Pride, died before me, and that's why I have a part of his power. Well, the other one went through the same thing with Esciner, but he was a pirate named Shirohige, the strongest man in the world. When he died I had his power. They are people who did not treat me like a slave, but like a partner, a son. A brother. Momo was surprised at that while Izuku just laid back down only for the girl to lay down on top of him. Momo. And what can you tell me about the Infernicus? Were you one of them? Izuku. Out of pity I was, although I'm not the only one, there's another one in this world who's still alive. Momo looked at him at that. Izuku. I was considered the weakest, the strongest is still alive. Momo. Then the information is wrong. Izuku. I'm afraid so, now is when you're going to hand me over to be killed or interrogated. Momo. Why do you say that? Izuku. I'll stop by before, besides, it's part of the law to wipe out all the Infernicus. Momo just hugged him tightly for this. Momo. I would never leave you, Izuku, I will never let you get hurt, that's why I don't plan on telling anyone that you are an Infernicus. Izuku. Thank you. Momo. Tell me, if I set you free, will you go to your world? Izuku. No, I wouldn't go to my world if you set me free. Momo. Why? Izuku. Because I love you. He said it in a very low voice, thinking that the brunette was not going to hear him, but she ended up hearing this from her, making her happy, so she hugged Izuku, even more than who only hugged his owner from her. Momo. By the way, what is your real power? Izuku. Dragon, I can transform into a dragon being of different shapes and sizes. Momo. I'll be ready to take that test. The girl just fell asleep on Izuku's chest, who kept looking at the girl, making her smile, so he could fall asleep too. Chapter 15. After the sports festival had ended, leaving Momo as the champion for Izuku, apart from the fact that they had ended with Izuku telling Momo about part of his life in the past, at this moment everyone was at UA being calm, although this time Izuku was closer to Momo to the point that the boy was Momo's new chair. Hiroshima. It seems that the two of them will be very close now. Izuku. It's obvious if I'm the servant. At one point Momo grabbed her cheek causing the boy to slightly hurt and wince in pain. Momo. I already told you that you are not a servant. At that moment Izawa entered the room with a serious look. Izawa. They all did very well at the sports festival, but as some of you know, the sports festival served to make some parts where the heroes work, so they will be working with them for a while, so they know what the world of professionals is like. Everyone just showed a face of excitement at such a thing. Izawa. But before seeing the parts to be able to go they have to choose their hero names. At that moment Midnight entered who explained the same thing from the original story so that each one could begin to choose their hero name until everyone passed. Midnight. Hey Izuku, I'm aware of your status as a hero or helper, which is partly why you don't want to choose a name. Izuku. If I had to choose a name it would be the Lion of Pride. 15. Midnight. Can you tell me why the name? Izuku. It's just an old memory I have of someone. The boy, without anyone noticing, had a nostalgic look that was only noticed by Momo who partially hugged Izuku without anyone noticing. Izawa. Well, start choosing your internship spots. Everyone started choosing their internships, when they finished they all went to their houses to start preparing things, although Izuku was the one who prepared them. Momo. Izuku, there's no need for you to continue preparing things for the internships. Izuku. But I have to do what is my. The brunette took Izuku's hands from her making him stop from putting his clothes in a briefcase to prepare everything. Izuku. I know I don't have to do it, but I don't really like remembering the past. Momo. Why don't you tell me a little more about your past if you don't like to tell it or remember it? Izuku. I have no problems, this scar. He points to his scar on his chest, which was very large and was clearly a cut. Izuku. It was when I was with the Infernicus, our leader, the strongest of all, was like my brother at heart, but one day when the rebellion began, I had to be with him, at that time I was with Esclavo, one of my former masters, but the most important thing is that when in one part of the rebellion he wanted me to kill Esclavo. Momo. What happened? Izuku. I didn't want to do it, Esclavo was one of the few who treated me well, so I had to say no, I didn't want to fight or kill Esclavo because of that he ended up attacking me and gave me this scar in our fight being me the weakest of the Infernicus. Momo. When you said the name of the hero you would choose then you remembered that moment. Izuku. That's right, I had to betray one of my closest ones. Momo. Let's just get ready because we have to leave soon. Izuku. Yes. The brunette took off some of the clothes that the boy had in his hand, hours passed, and now the two were entering a building to get things started, although they noticed someone else. Kendo. Hello Momo. Momo. Hello Kendo, you came too. Kendo. Yes. Monoma. It seems that the most useless slave of class 1 and the little girl also came. Kendo. I'm sorry for how my servant behaves, he is very arrogant. Momo. It's okay, it's normal sometimes. Izuku. If you want, I can gladly do some things in Monoma. Kendo. Thanks but you don't have to do that. Heroine. Besides, it seems to me that this Izuku boy would easily crush this monkey guy. Monoma. It's Monoma. Heroine. Whatever, I don't care, get ready because this is for professionals, not for children. Hours passed and Momo and Kendo were with the paperwork, while Izuku and Monoma were carrying the boxes from one place to another. Monoma. I'll show you what I'm capable of doing, anything that surpasses Izuku. He said this while trying to lift a box that was half the size of his body, but he couldn't move it. Monoma. It's very heavy. I look at a part where Izuku was carrying two boxes twice the size of Monoma's box, Izuku carried them without problems. Kendo. It seems that Monoma really wants to show that he is superior to Izuku. Momo. What can we do? Kendo. Monoma suffered a lot due to bad luck and someone who suffers cannot become very strong. Momo. What are you talking about? Kendo. Monoma was abandoned in an orphanage by his parents and no one wanted to take him as far as he knows. Momo. That's bad, but he didn't suffer as much as Izuku out of pity. Kendo. What are you talking about? Izuku is serious because if nothing else, he doesn't have a clue that he has suffered. At those words Momo looked badly at Kendo, who just continued with what she was doing, so she also continued. When they finished everyone was resting, although Izuku was with Momo together. Momo. We look more like employees than heroes. Izuku. Out of pity, this was what you chose, so you have to fulfill it. Momo. Well, we don't have many options now. Monoma. Hey, I want to fight you Izuku now and make a bet. Izuku. What's your bet about? Monoma. If I win the fight, I want that raven to be my girlfriend, a servant to a servant. Izuku got angry at this, so he stood up, being noticed by Momo, who was beginning to worry. Izuku. I'll teach you some lessons when someone makes me angry. Monoma. Then let's fight. The boy took out a kind of sword to go against Izuku, who was with his back turned looking for his sword. When the blonde was close about to give him a cut, he flew away from a blow from Izuku, when Monoma ended up on the wall in front of the side of the brunette, who had a smile. Izuku. That's for you to learn a little damn thing. Momo. Let's go Izuku, we don't have to be near him all the time. The brunette took her green hair, while Monoma had her eyes wide open as blood came out from different parts of her body. Monoma. What enormous power. The boy was already afraid of Izuku. Chapter 16. After Momo and Izuku went to the internships meeting those from Class B, Kendo and Monoma being the one who suffered a little at the hands of Izuku for wanting his raven. At this moment everyone was returning from their internships, being that Momo had a few laughs when remembering all the times that the green-haired boy humiliated and defeated the blonde from Class B. Everyone was in their classrooms talking about their internships. Izawa. Okay guys, I'm afraid we'll have 2 tests, one is not mandatory, but the other is. Lita. What are they? Izawa. The first one is for everyone who has a servant, they have to take the test for their servants if they want, but if they don't want to then they can do it another day. Well, the second one is a surprise. They all agreed to go outside to see what the tests were going to be like. Izawa. Who wants to be first? Izumi. I think so. At that Ijiro stepped forward to begin what looked like a dojo test to enter like Izumi. Izawa. Well, with this sphere that you see here we will be able to see what is happening inside. Everyone looked at how the green-haired girl was in front of the blonde. Ijiro. My test is to see how long you can last in a fight with me, you have to get me out of this circle that surrounds us to beat me. The green-haired girl agreed to enter the huge circle that was on the wooden floor, although she noticed something on the wooden floor. Ijiro. Whenever you want. The boy got into a combat stance looking at the green-haired girl who only stepped on a part of the wooden floor which was loose, causing a piece of wood to rise below Ijiro, hitting him in the balls, so that he fell to the floor taking it, which made him a man only for the girl to take him out of the circle. Izumi. Ready. Izawa. I didn't expect that. Ijiro. I knew I had to fix that floor, because I didn't. Izawa. Who's next? Todoroki. I wish it was me. Toru. Okay, I'll wait for you. The girl made a circle on the floor, making it more than clear that the portal was there, so he saw the color enter. Toru. My test is that you have to catch me, but that will be difficult since I am. She couldn't continue because the color froze the whole place, causing the girl to end up in the cold. Izawa. Next. Bakugo. It's my turn. Kirishima stepped forward to make a rock, when the boy approached he touched the rock to appear in a world of rocks. Kirishima. My test you have to endure as long as you can. The boy launched himself against the ash-haired man who covered himself with a blow, although he was surprised by the red-haired man's strength, since it increased apart from the fact that it was noticeable that his hardening of him was greater than before. Bakugo. Damn. The boy was about to use his explosions, but the red-haired man hit him in the stomach, pushing him away while knocking the air out of him. Kirishima. There's an Hergless over there. A while ago, when the test started, the Hergless started counting. You just have to hold on until it reaches 0. Kirishima launched himself starting to hit Bakugo, who protected himself as much as he could from those blows, which were stronger than the other, making Bakugo about to lower his arms more each time, but the boy did not give up. It seemed that he did not think to give up in any way, but each time the blows were getting worse due to the enormous toughness of the red-haired man that only made the situation worse. Kirishima. Let's see how much longer you can last. The boy hits him one more time, causing him to move further away than before, on the verge of falling off a cliff. Bakugo lowered his arms so that Kirishima could hit him in the face, but an alarm sounded, indicating that time was up. Kirishima. Good, you passed the test. Bakugo just fell unconscious as everyone watched them leave. Izawa. Okay, next. Jiru. My turn. The girl watched as Kaminari stepped forward to make a lightning portal. Kaminari. Whenever you want. The blonde left as the girl entered, seeing a place that was completely covered in electricity. Kaminari. You have to catch me, but I'm obviously going to defend myself. Jiru. Just don't regret it later. The girl approached the blonde who was ready to unleash his electricity from her. Jiru. If you let me win then I'll let you see some girls. Saying that, the boy had a perverted face that the purple-haired girl took advantage of to use her quirk, hitting Kaminari and leaving him on the floor. Jiru. Pervert. Izawa. These servants aren't like the ones from my time, the ones from before didn't stop for things like this. Shoji. I guess that leaves me now. Tokoyami stepped forward to make a portal of darkness which Shoji entered to see that there was only darkness. Tokoyami. You have to catch me in the dark, but at the same time I will be attacking you. And that Shoji received a blow from Dark Shadow, which gave another blow to the giant boy who only stood up looking everywhere, but because of that he ended up with another blow to the face, throwing him to the ground so that he began to get up with a little pain. Tokoyami. You have to know how to defend yourself in the dark. The boy launched another attack against the giant who could only move and dodge with difficulty. Shoji. Then let's try this. The boy took out some ears to hear some footsteps being Tokoyami's, so he had to move at great speed to hit the boy who dodged it, but used Dark Shadow to attack Shoji who received the attack, but this time he grabbed the shadow which he moved, causing Tokoyami to go directly to where he was to hit him in the stomach and catch him in a bear hug. Shoji. I win. Tokoyami. Yes. At that they left the portal seeing everyone. Izawa. We're missing just one. They see Momo who was playing with a small dragon on her shoulder, which, in everyone's eyes, was very cute since it was black with green eyes and black pupils. Mina. Is that Izuku? He looks so cute. Momo. We decided that this would be its form of him. Mineta. He doesn't look so menacing anymore. Saying those words, little Izuku grew bigger, showing an adult form that was not as friendly as before, scaring everyone. Momo. I think he didn't like those words. Mineta. Understood. Izawa. Momo, are you going to take your test now? Momo, hearing that, remembered at the sports festival how very few people were able to take Izuku's test. Momo. I don't think so. Izawa. Well, if you want you can see Izuku's world and find out what his test will be. Everyone saw the brunette who agreed for the boy to ride on the floor since her test was about finding him and fighting him. Momo. Can I see your world? The boy flew through the air to go straight to the ground, making a black portal passing through it. Everyone saw through the sphere how it began in a jungle, but did not stop as it began to fly out of the jungle, showing that he was passing through a desert passing for a few moments, until he entered a mountain which was through a cave that was above the clouds. When he passed through the cave they saw how there was lava inside the mountain, but he did not stop as he entered a second cave, finding a part where there was water which was hot due to the steam it gave off. Hiroshima. All the more reason almost no one can take his test from him. Ajiro. The people who took his test must surely be monsters. Izawa. You can call him now. At that Momo called Izuku who responded to the call returning with all of them. Chapter 17. After the tests were done where each one had to do their servant's test, only Momo's was missing since the brunette wanted to do it at another time. At this moment everyone was in their classroom calmly waiting for the teacher until Izawa appeared at the place. Izawa. Everyone put on your hero outfits because we have to go do a test. Everyone did as they began to leave the place, ending up taking the bus, although Momo noticed how Izuku was looking everywhere, as if he was waiting for something. Momo. Is something wrong, Izuku? Izuku. I just feel something strange, like someone is approaching. Jiru. Hey, they told us that to rise in rank in that servant thing you can do something weird like fight each other. How do you know when you rise? Momo. You can talk. Izuku. We are notified of a number of cups which can go up or down, depending on how the fight ends. Hiroshima. I wish I was in one of those fights. Izuku. I assure you that you wouldn't like it. When they arrived they saw the teachers who seemed serious. Izumi. What's going on? Izawa. The test will be a fight between students and teachers. Everyone looked at this in astonishment, but before they continued Izuku became serious when he felt something, so he looked to a part where he saw some people approaching who were wearing armor. 13. Who are you? And what are you doing here? They watched as Izuku moved forward until he was in front of them, causing them to stop. First man. You are Ronin, the great swordsman capable of killing anyone in a matter of seconds. Izawa. Who are they? Izuku. They are people who fight in duels because they don't have a master, they are master rank like me. If you want, take the test, I can do this. Before he started walking he felt someone touch his back and saw that it was Momo. Momo. Please take care of yourself. Izuku. I will. The boy walked towards the group making a katana appear, while the place changed to a coliseum, in which only Izuku and the 6 people were. Izuku. Whenever you want, I'm ready. He said it with a cold look while the 6 men being that the first one took out a sword, the second a mace, the third a whip, the fourth a bow and arrows, the fifth an axe and the sixth only took out some knives. First man. It will be an honor to fight the great Ronin. Izuku. I don't want to be that guy anymore, but out of shame I have to fight. From one moment to another the fourth man launched 3 arrows, which were blocked by Izuku's katana who advanced against them, only for them to do the same 4 of them, which only looked at Izuku fixedly, until they arrived in what the second tried to hit him, with his mace being dodged by the green-haired man, who with a jump, kicked him 5th, moving him away, followed by blocking some cuts from the 6th. Who had a sadistic face but Izuku with a quick movement, made a cut in his legs, followed by a blow to the cane moving him away, so that he dodged 2 arrows, so that he saw the fourth who was preparing another arrow, but before he launched himself against him, the third tried to hit him with his whip, trying to hit him on some part of his body, but he didn't hit him. Izuku's mind. This is harder than I thought, I have to finish off the one with the arrows and the whip. Izuku launched himself against him, but in front of him the first one tried to cut him in the stomach, which was blocked by Izuku, who looked at him to kick him in the stomach, moving him away, followed by a jump reaching where the other 2 were, but before he killed them, he dodged an axe being from the 5th, who tried to hit him, but Izuku threw himself back, completely avoiding it until with a jump he dodged a second one who was behind him, causing the mallet to hit the 5th man who was sent flying. Izuku saw how the one with the arrows threw 4 arrows at him, being that 3 of them were blocked by Izuku, but the 4th arrow he took it to spin, launch it hitting the 4th man in the shoulder. Before the third fell he took him with a whip, sending him flying followed by the second who hit him with the mallet, leaving him aside. First man. We have to finish him off. Before they could move forward they saw him start laughing until Izuku got up. Second man. What are you laughing at? Izuku. Now that I'm done warming up, I'm going to finish you off. I'm going to get serious. As he said those words he disappeared before the eyes of all of them, who saw how out of nowhere he appeared behind the 4th man who looked at him to be cut by the neck by Izuku's katana, who looked at the third who only tried to get away, but Izuku was already in front of him making a diagonal cut from the chest to the stomach passing through the waist. With one jump he went against the second who protected himself with his mace, but when he was in front Izuku's katana cut the wood of the mace, causing it to end up cutting the 4th man. 5th man. He's faster than he looks. First. Stay alert, he is someone very dangerous. Izuku. More blood, I want more. The boy launched himself against the last ones left to cut off the head of the 6th to their astonishment at the enormous speed he had, but before they did anything the 5th attempted to kill Izuku, but he himself already had the katana piercing his neck to pull it out, letting all the blood fall on him, showing a sadistic smile that scared the first who only tried to launch himself against him. Making a cut but to his surprise from a movement of Izuku's katana, his sword ended up breaking, so that he ended up with the katana in his heart piercing it so that he would fall dead. When the massacre ended the place returned to normal while the bodies were still on the floor. The class had just finished the test while Izuku laughed like a madman and had no pupil but totally red eyes. Izuku. More blood, I want more blood is not enough. He looked at the class with that smile that scared them, so the teachers stood in front of him wanting to protect them, so he launched himself against them. Izawa. Everybody run, we'll take care of it. Before Izuku arrived preparing his katana to cut off everyone's heads, he felt a hug while Momo just passed between the teachers to hug Izuku who remained still. Momo. Calm down, you don't have to continue, everything is over. The brunette was caressing Izuku's head who relaxed. Chapter 18. After those of class 1 did their test, while Izuku was in charge of fighting with some people having a thirst for blood in front of everyone's eyes, but he was able to be relaxed for Momo. At this moment the brunette hugged the green-haired boy who let go of his sword so that they could leave the place towards Momo's house, who left her servant sleeping in her bed so that she could lie down next to him. Momo. I hope you wake up soon. The girl stayed next to Izuku until the boy managed to wake up, moving, and because of that Momo also ended up waking up to see Izuku with a smile. Izuku. What happened? Momo. Nothing special, you just had to relax. The boy remembered those moments when he made a massacre with those people. Izuku. I lost control. Momo. What matters is that you are now with me, calm down. Izuku. That doesn't change the fact that I did this. The boy looked at his hand, coming to believe that he had blood on his hands, being noticed by Momo who was his hand. Momo. That's over now you just have to relax, you're with me, and no one can change that. The boy did as he asked to relax after his mistress's orders. After a few hours they went to UA, although everyone was beginning to be a little afraid of Izuku because of what he had shown in the tests. Hiroshima. You're in control again, aren't you? Izuku. Yes, I'm under control again. Izawa. Okay, everyone can go do some shopping so we can prepare for camp. Hearing that, everyone was somewhat happy, so when classes ended, everyone left the place to go to the mall, where they walked for a while, calmly doing their shopping. Haminari. What can we buy? Momo. You know Izuku what we can buy, what do you recommend? Izuku. A knife and nothing more than that. Bakugo. And what do you want us to go eat? Or sleep and all that? Izuku. They can always hunt and when it comes to sleeping, there are branches on the trees. Hiroshima. You certainly have experience with this sort of thing. They were walking for a while, although Izuku was in low spirits as if there was something wrong with him, being noticed by the brunette who only approached him to keep him some company without anyone finding out until Izumi ended up going with a guy who was bothering him in one part, making Izuku look at him. Momo. If you want to help then go. The boy would begin to walk calmly towards them. Izumi. Hey, leave them alone. Man. And you're giving me orders. The man had a sadistic smile, but he noticed how the green-haired man was coming, making the smile grow even more. Izuku. You were asked to leave them alone, you better get out now, or I will be forced to take drastic measures. Man. No need, I was leaving anyway. The man would begin to walk before everyone's eyes, but Izuku had a bad feeling, they stayed a while longer until they each returned to their home. Momo. What's wrong Izuku? Izuku. Nothing's wrong with me. Momo. You can't fool me, I can see that inside you are wrong. Izuku. It's just that the images of those wars I was in came back, all the deaths, all that and the monster I was. Momo. Relax, everything will be okay. The brunette put her hand on the green-haired man's cheek and began to caress him to give him a kiss. Chapter 19. After Izuku went to the mall with the class to do some shopping, although they met a man who ended up leaving the place, now the entire class was just preparing to leave the place as they were going by bus to be good having a good time in which they were talking, although Momo used Izuku as a seat as she sat on his legs until they reached a place where everyone saw that they were on a mountain. Mina. This is a beautiful place. Hiroshima. Will it just be a stop? Izuku looked at the place, but for a few moments he swore he saw a battlefield where there were many dead, but that went away when he felt someone take his hand from him. Momo. Is something wrong? Izuku. No, I'm fine. At one point they saw the pussycats appear, who only gave their introduction until they said they were going to the foot of the mountain. Haminari. Everybody on the bus. Everyone started running but at one point the ground broke causing everyone to fall off that part, ending with Izuku having Momo in a bridal way. Izuku. Are you okay, Miss Momo? Momo. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. The boy left her to listen as they had 3 hours. Todoroki. Okay, we have 3 hours to get to the foot of the camp. Mina. Izuku, can you do something to make it easier? Everyone looked at the boy who had a serious look until he felt the raven touch his shoulder, so he sighed and began to transform his body into a dragon, the same one they saw present at the Mienta test. Todoroki. Wait, that dragon was Izuku. They saw how he lowered his head so that Momo could climb on him while he put his tail on the floor so that everyone could climb on. Momo. Now take us, okay? The boy would only begin to walk passing through the trees as if nothing was happening before the eyes of everyone who noticed how when an earth creature tried to get in his way, the young man would simply crush it as if nothing was happening so that 2 hours would pass in which they finally arrived at the camp before the eyes of their teacher. Izawa. The idea was that you had to do it without the help of your servants. Bakugo. We know but it was better this way. Jiru. We were going to end up very tired. Ryuko. Okay, go to the hot springs to relax. Everyone started walking but saw how Izuku grabbed Mineta with his mouth and lifted him up. Mandalay. What does it do? Izawa. It's just that he, like Kaminari, the other servant, is perverted too much. Ryuko. So they are people who bring trouble. Mandalay. And tell us, do you have a better idea? They saw how he released Mineta to go to a part and start digging, so they could see how water began to come out in which he lay down around, so they could notice how he closed his eyes, and his body began to heat the water, making it ends up being hot springs. Ryuko. Using his body to heat the water and keep us all warm, but will he be anti-pervert? They took Mineta and Kaminari throwing them, so that he would end up burning just by touching Izuku's body. When the girls approached they saw how he raised one of his legs, making an entrance for them which they were happy with this. Momo. Thanks, Izuku. The brunette gave him a kiss on one part of her face, and she could swear that at that moment the boy had a smile. The girls only began to enter while the boy stayed outside. Izawa. Well, it seems we have no choice but to use the other hot springs. They agreed and left the place. Chapter 20. After everyone arrived at the camp where they could only relax in the place although Izuku worked a lot for the girls' hot springs, now everyone was spending their time training, although Momo did nothing but look at Izuku who remained calm next to her. Izuku. Is something wrong Momo? Momo. It's just that, I want to do your test. But that Izuku looked at her in surprise. Izuku? Are you sure? Momo. Yes. Izuku. Fine, but I want her to give her best. The brunette nodded as Izuku took a few steps away, followed by starting a portal of black matter that everyone looked at after he entered, and Momo began to walk towards him. Hiroshima. Wait, are you sure you want to do that? Momo. Yes, I am. The girl entered the portal and at one moment she appeared in a kind of jungle. Momo. Well, this seems like the beginning. At one point I heard the roar of a beast, so I looked up where a huge dragon was passing by. Momo. And that's where I have to go. Everyone watched as he began to gather things like water, food, and more. When he finished, he just began to walk through the jungle until he reached the desert. Momo. And this is where everything else begins. She began to walk through the desert, for her hours passed while the rest only minutes passed. The girl walked until she could see a mountain in the distance, so she walked to the mountain, reaching it to begin to climb, it being difficult for her with the heat of the place, but it began to change to a colder climate until there began to be snow, so she created a jacket to keep from getting cold. She walked for a longer time until she found a cave in which she approached a little, seeing the footprints. The girl entered the cave beginning to look everywhere until she managed to see a light in the distance to get closer and see the fire that was inside the mountain. She walked through the place being careful not to be burned until she found a second cave which she entered to end up in some waters from which steam came out. Momo. I think I'll take a break from this part. He sat on the floor resting a bit until a dragon began to emerge from the water before everyone's eyes, which in a flash became Izuku, who had two swords in his hand. Izuku. You found me now, so now you have to complete the test. Momo. And what is this part about? Izuku. Easily defeat me in a sword duel. The boy passed one of the swords to the girl, who only took it to get up and take it out of her sheath. Momo. Prepare tea because I will pass this test. Izuku. We'll see about that. Momo launched herself at Izuku, who was only just beginning to block the girl's attacks, as they weren't much for him. Hiroshima. That's all, we'll never see Izuku again. Mina. What are you talking about? Haminari. No one has ever beaten Ronin in a sword duel. Mineta. There's no way he'll win. They saw how he was blocking in a fairly easy way for the boy until he himself turned around and tried to cut Momo, who managed to dodge it to throw his sword at Izuku, who dodged it although it grazed him, causing a lock of his hair to be cut in front of everyone's eyes. Izuku. I didn't teach you that move. At one point the brunette was in front of him trying to make a cut, but Izuku began to dodge her with great ease until at one point when he dodged another cut he was about to attack Momo, but the girl was faster, attacking Izuku, making a small cut on his chest, letting out a thread of blood. Momo. I didn't just spend my time training your techniques. Izuku. Yes, but. I look at the girl, who was tired. Izuku. Those movements demand too much from you, not to mention that you are tired from the trip, so you won't be able to continue for long. Everyone watched as he got into an attack pose, making them worry. Izuku. However, it's time to end this. She launched herself at Momo, who could only barely dodge Izuku's slash, followed by another slash, causing her to move away. The girl began to jump as she moved away from Izuku's dangerous lashes, who did not stop attacking, not showing that he was tired, while Momo was something else, since the girl was, after all, very tired, even though she was doing what she could against Izuku. Todoroki. She surrounded her. Jiru. He has no chance to defend himself. Everyone saw how they were on a kind of bridge, while below them was the hot water, meaning that the brunette had more and more opportunities to lose. Izuku. That's all, you lost. Before she made the last attack, Momo ended up throwing her sword at Izuku, who dodged it, but the girl grabbed him by her arm to throw him into the hot water, surprising everyone. The brunette began to run to the exit, something they didn't understand, until they saw how she threw a kind of grenade at the ceiling, while Izuku began to come out of the water in his dragon form. Momo. I think the same, you already lost. At one point when the girl was passing through the exit on the roof, the grenades exploded, causing all the rocks to fall on Izuku, who tried to do something about it, but in the end he couldn't do anything and was crushed by the rocks, being trapped in the rubble while Momo appeared again with the others. Momo. What happened? Izuku. You defeat me. Everyone looked, although the servants were surprised at how Izuku, the great Ronin, was kneeling before the brunette in defeat. Izuku. You passed my test, that's what happened. Momo. Great. The girl was about to faint from exhaustion, but Izuku grabbed her before taking her out of the place. Chapter 21. After Momo had beaten Izuku in her test, being that she now had one of Izuku's abilities, she was now returning to her world, while everyone was happy to see her, congratulating her for passing Izuku's test. This was obviously pleased the girl, who felt good about it, while Izuku was the last to appear, seeing how they supported the brunette. Izuku. At least he did well. The boy began to walk away from the group, walking to a spot above the building to sit down. Izuku. I know you followed Izawa. At that moment the man walked towards Izuku to sit next to him. Izawa. You can tell me what's going on. Izuku. There's nothing to tell you, it's just that she doesn't need much of my help now. At one point in the group they realized that someone was missing. Mina. We have to go celebrate this. Momo. Yes, but wait a bit. Everyone left so the girl could turn around and see where the portal was, but there was nothing. Momo. Where is Izuku? At one point I noticed the green-haired boy who was on the roof, so thinking the worst he started to run. He got there until he could start listening to Izawa and Izuku's conversation. Izawa. Why do you say she doesn't need your help anymore? Izuku. All this time I was protecting her using part of my power, but now that she has part of my power apart from being able to take the swords of my kingdom. Izawa. And you think he doesn't need your help anymore? Izuku. No, now I just have to go back to being a normal servant, she can relax now, since I will never leave her side or need my help from her. Izawa. Fine, if that's it then I'm leaving. The man left while Izuku just watched the sunset until he felt a hug from behind from the raven-haired girl. Momo. Do you seriously think that with your power from her I won't need your help? Izuku. That's obvious, you don't need my help in any fight or anything. Momo. I really don't know what your power is, apart from that I'm sure I'll need your help for a few more years. Izuku. My power is dragon, I can transform into different types of dragons. At one point the girl grabbed her face to make him look up only to receive a kiss from the girl. Momo. It doesn't matter if I already have your power, I will need your help, and that is something I am sure of. At one point he laid Izuku's head on his lap to begin petting Izuku's head as the night fell. Izuku. I still don't understand why you keep treating me this way unlike the other servants. Momo. I think you're forgetting a lot of things, I already told you Izuku, I love you and that can't be changed. At one point they began to hear some noise to see the forest where some blue fire was noticed, but Izuku increased his vision. Momo. What's wrong? Izuku. No villains. Momo. At the camp. Izuku. We have to notify Mandalay. At that point he turned into a dragon so the brunette could climb on top of him while he began to fly, so he would leave her with the heroine. Momo. Mandalay-sensei, there are villains everywhere. Mandalay. Understood but I have to go via Kota. Saying that Izuku began to fly in front of the two of them. Tiger. What are you going to do? Momo. He'll definitely go for Kota. With the child he was watching as the villain walked towards him, about to kill him, but out of nowhere a dragon appeared at the place, taking Muscular by the arm to lift him into the air, and began to whip him across the floor several times, until he threw him to crash into the rocks. Muscular. You're the damn dragon, I'll finish you off. He was about to launch himself against Izuku, but the boy threw fire from his mouth hitting Muscular directly, causing him to move away, but when he could see that he stopped throwing fire, a paw grabbed him by the head to lift him in the air and slam him against the floor and do the same thing again to throw him far away. Muscular. Before you knock me out, your old friend sends his regards to him. That confused Izuku, but he didn't waste time hitting him with his tail on the head, knocking him unconscious, then lowering his wing so Kota could get on top of him. Once he did that he began to fly in the sky to where Mandalay was. Mandalay. Are you okay Kota? Kota. Yes. Izuku. I need Kota's help. Kota. About me? Izuku. Yes, your quirk allows you to throw water from your hands, I need you to throw water at the burned parts of the forest. Kota. And how do you want me to do that? Izuku. I'll carry you through the sky so you can put out the fire. Momo. I'll go with them in case something bad happens. The two of them got on to start flying so that Kota could start throwing water, starting to put out the fire that was in the place, but at one point they noticed how the boys were following a villain. Momo. Why are you following that villain? Izuku. I don't know, but now we're going to find out. He launched himself towards the villain who noticed the enormous dragon coming towards him so that he would receive a blow from the enormous beast, knocking him down with the other villains, although they were able to take out Tokoyami. Momo. Now we have to fight them. When they landed, he left the brunette with the child on the floor. Todoroki. Give up, you don't stand a chance. At one point a ray of energy hit Izuku, throwing him to the ground so that he could see a black dragon with some blue lines on his body, which began to move away from the place. Izuku. Is that you? Acknowledge. He said this as he fell unconscious to the floor and returned to his normal form. Momo. Izuku. The girl ran towards the green-haired man while the villains left the place. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.